You know, in our digital world, trust is basically the air we breathe. We're signing contracts, we're paying bills, we're sharing information online every single second. But have you ever stopped to think about it? How do we really know who sent a document? Or precisely when it was signed? Or if the website we're on is even real? These are the fundamental questions of digital trust, and today we're going to break them down piece by piece.
And just so you know, this entire explainer is grounded in the comprehensive work of Professor Vahar Kaskinov. His research really provides the legal and technical backbone for everything we're about to cover.
All right, so here's our roadmap. We're going to explore 3 core pillars that hold up the entire concept of digital trust. First up, the electronic seal, which answers the simple question, who sent this? Then, we'll look at the electronic timestamp, which proves when it happened. And finally, we'll dive into website certificates, which secure the where, the actual digital space where we do business.
So let's start with that first fundamental question. In a world of endless digital documents, how do you prove who is behind them? And I don't mean an individual person, I mean an entire organization.
Well, the legal answer to that is the electronic seal. According to the EU's big eIDAS regulation, it's defined as basically data that you attach to a document to guarantee 2 absolutely critical things: its origin, so where it came from, and its integrity, meaning it hasn't been changed 1 bit since it was sealed.
Now, this is a really important distinction. We hear the term electronic signature all the time, right? But that's for a natural person. It's you or me expressing our individual consent. An electronic seal is a different beast altogether. It's for a legal person, a company, a university, a government agency. It represents the official authority of the entire institution.
And for a seal to be considered qualified, which is the absolute gold standard with the most legal power, it has to meet these 4 very strict requirements. It's got to be uniquely linked to the company. It has to clearly identify them, and it has to be created using data that only that company controls. And this last part is the really clever bit. It's cryptographically linked to the document, which acts like a digital tripwire. Any change, no matter how tiny, breaks the link, and you know instantly that it's been tampered with.
Okay, so how does a company actually get one of these? Let's take a hypothetical trading company X. First, they pick a certified provider from the official EU trust list. Then they apply with all their business registration details. The provider verifies they are who they say they are and issues a certificate. And here's where it gets really powerful. They can use a service called remote sealing. This allows their systems to automatically stamp thousands of invoices or contracts per minute with this legally binding seal, all without a human having to click a thing.
So the bottom line is this, and it's a big one. A qualified electronic seal isn't just some fancy digital icon. It has the exact same legal weight as a traditional physical ink and wax corporate seal. And that validity is recognized across every single member state of the European Union.
Okay, so we've established the who, but in legal matters and in business, the when is often just as critical. How can we prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the exact moment a digital action took place?
I mean, this is so important for so many reasons. You need to prove when a contract was signed, when an offer was officially received, or maybe when a piece of intellectual property was first created. But here's the real kicker. A digital signature certificate usually expires after a few years. So how do you prove that signature was valid, say, 15 years from now?
And the source material here gives us this absolutely brilliant analogy. A timestamp acts as a legal preservative. Think about that. It literally freezes the document's legal state at a specific moment in time. It proves that at that exact instant, the signature certificate was valid, which then locks in its legality for decades. That's a concept we call long-term validation, or LTV.
The official definition from the eIDAS regulation is actually very clear and simple. It's just electronic data that links other data to a specific moment, providing hard evidence that the data existed right then.
And this isn't just theory. It's a real, tangible thing. Take a look. This is a real-world example of a timestamp certificate. You can see the precise date and time, a unique digital fingerprint of the document, and the digital signature from the trusted provider who issued it. It's basically a digital notary for time itself.
All right, on to our final pillar. We have locked down the who and the when, but none of that matters one bit if we can't trust the where, the digital environment where all our transactions are actually taking place.
I'm sure you've been there. You're about to enter some sensitive info online, and you pause and ask yourself, is this website for real, or is it a very clever fake designed to steal my data? How can we actually be certain?
Well, the answer lies in website authentication certificates, which you probably know as SSL certificates. You see the signs every day, that little padlock icon in the address bar, the URL starting with HTTPS, and sometimes for websites with the highest level of identity check, a green address bar. These are all visual cues telling you the connection is secure and the website's owner has been verified. But behind that simple padlock, there's actually a fascinating debate going on. On one side, you've got the global web browsers, Chrome, Safari, Firefox. They have their own very strict global security standards. But on the other side, you have the European Union, which is pushing for something it calls digital sovereignty. The EU wants to create its own rules for trust and basically force the browsers to follow them. So the new EDOS 2.0 regulation tries to find a compromise. It says, okay, browsers are now required to recognize and display the identity info from these qualified EU certificates. But, and this is a really critical but, it still preserves the browser's right to protect you. So if a browser's own security system flags a real threat from a website, it can still warn you or even block it, even if that site has a qualified EU certificate.
Now, this whole ecosystem of seals and timestamps and certificates, it's not just about solving today's problems. These are actually the fundamental building blocks for the next evolution of our digital lives.
And that future is looking a lot like the European Digital Identity Wallet. Just imagine a secure app on your phone that holds verified digital versions of your most important credentials. They have a technical name for these, electronic attestations of attributes, but it's just a fancy way of saying a trusted digital proof of something about you, like your university diploma, your professional license, or even your driver's license.
So how do you know that digital diploma in your wallet is real? Well, this is where it all comes full circle. The university that issued it will attach its qualified electronic seal. That seal is the cryptographic, undeniable proof of authenticity. The HUO that we started this whole journey with is exactly what makes the contents of your future digital wallet trustworthy.
So, to bring it all home, these are the pillars of digital trust. The electronic seal tells us who, guaranteeing a document's origin from an organization. The timestamp tells us when, proving the exact moment in time. And the website certificate secures the where, authenticating the digital space we're in. Who, when, and where. And that leaves us with a final question to think about. What is the next frontier? We've built these incredible systems to verify the who, the when, and the where. But as artificial intelligence and automated systems start making decisions on our behalf, how are we going to establish trust in a world that's becoming more and more autonomous?